Welcome, welcome. Thank you for listening in. You're listening to Unity, and I'm your host, Michael T. Thank you for joining me as we explore the liberty of the racial equality in this community. Once again, I'm your host, Michael T., and we're going to be talking to our guest. I'll let him introduce himself. Please say hello to the audience and tell them your name.
Hello, world. My name is Alex Jackson.
You hear Mr. Jackson, he has a radio voice already, so that's probably why he was excited to be on the show. We are a show that talks about racial issues, and not so much racial issues as the unity of the races is what we would like to really explore. And I met Mr. Jackson a couple of weeks ago, and we have something to share with you today. We're going to be talking about probably a heated subject in interracial relationships. And Mr. Jackson is involved in an interracial relationship himself, and he can expound on that relationship, what it means to him, and we will talk about the overall view, because mostly when you're dealing with racial issues, things of that matter, is always the outside influence that seems to tamper with the situation that probably really shouldn't be a situation. It's always the outside influence. So that's why we want to dive in and see if maybe we can make sense of what's really going on, share that with the world, and maybe somehow by and by we'll all just learn to get along. Mr. Jackson, tell me a little bit about yourself. Again, I love your radio voice, so I'm going to definitely let you talk a little more than normal.
Okay.
But what do you do for a living?
Right now, I'm actually a cook, restaurant cook, not a chef or anything like that, but I'm a cook at the moment. Been a cook for about 12 to 13 years now.
Wow. Okay. So then if we're hungry, we need to be talking to you. Maybe that's another show, another segment. One thing that I'll start the show with a little story that I have involving interracial situation. And thank God for Facebook, because I was able to locate this lady that I had a little thing for years ago. Matter of fact, in high school.
Okay.
And I'm gonna tell you what happened. I was in high school, and this is a local radio show, so I'll tell you it was Pontiac Central.
Okay.
And I'll even give the lady's name because I've since apologized to her. But there was a girl that I liked in high school. And I'm an African American, for those that are listening in, can't see us, this is not TV. And there was a Caucasian girl that I liked in high school. Her name was Nancy Johnson. I believe it has changed since then. But we would meet in the hallways, and we would bump hands and bump shoulders. That was the extent of the relationship, so you're not going to get the juicy part because there wasn't any. But we would bump in the hallway, but then one day I saw at the end of the hallway a few African-American girls coming down the same hallway.
Okay.
And immediately I broke away from my Caucasian friend as if we weren't together.
Right.
But the girls were smart. They was like, they together. They like each other. And man, that scared me real bad because I thought, these black girls is going to out me, is going to tell everybody I got a white girlfriend and give me problems. And I was so not, I don't know what you would call it. I had fear of people knowing that I liked a white girl and not a black girl. And I never met Nancy in that hallway again.
Really?
I never met her in the hallway again. I really liked her, and I never met her in the hallway again. But since we've had Facebook, I found her on Facebook maybe a year ago, maybe 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I told her the story, why I never met her in the hallway again, how much I liked her, and I apologized to her because it was wrong, because I was afraid of the outside influence. that's the preference, our show today. And again, you're listening to Unity. I'm your host, Michael T. And also, we have a email. If you like the show or you want to be on the show or you want to talk about racial issues, you can email me at this show 2017 at gmail.com. It's as simple as I said. THISSHOW 2017 at gmail.com. Our guest is Mr. Alex Jackson. And Mr. Jackson has a girlfriend. And I'm going to let him tell me a little bit about his relationship first off. And then I'm going to hit him with the questions.
Okay.
So talk to me. You're in a relationship. Who are you in a relationship with?
Her name is Amber Ballhorn. We've been together for about 12 years, 13 years now. We met actually at work, so that's how that ties into my same time cooking at work.
Okay.
But we met on the job. We kind of clicked. I was single at the time, sort of kind of single at the time. And,
That's
we
another show.
met.
That's another show.
Yeah, that's another show.
Okay.
And we met. We liked each other. We kind of hit it off. A year went by. She had a child, and we were still working together, but she had time off due to her having a child, so I didn't see her for a while. But when she came back to work, it was almost kind of like back to normal a little bit, and we almost never stopped hanging out or seeing each other ever since then. And it just transpired into a relationship after maybe like 2 years after that.
Okay. Tell me, what was it that you liked about Miss Amber? We'll call her Miss Amber on the show. What was it that attracted you to Amber?
Okay. Well, she was actually attracted. She drew my attention first because I heard she had interest in me.
Okay.
So she was actually visiting our store from another store, so she worked somewhere else, and she actually came to work at our store. And, we seen each other, and I didn't really kind of think nothing of it. And then a couple days later, I kind of heard she had a little interest in me. And then that kind of made me look at her a little differently and see if, it was a possibility, and it was. And then we kind of hit it off from there.
Okay.
But what I actually kind of liked about her, I don't have really a preference when it comes to women, so to speak. If you're pretty, you're pretty.
Okay.
Black, white, red, brown, yellow, green. Doesn't matter to me. At least that's how it should be.
Right, exactly. And so we want to let you in on a secret, as if you haven't already ascertained, that Amber is a Caucasian.
Right.
And you're African American.
Correct.
And let's go into it.
Okay.
You seem like a really cool guy.
Thank you.
Seem to be, in the short, brief time that we've known one another, you seem to be, worldly. You got sense about you. I think you can handle yourself in the streets.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Prototypical of what we feel about each other when we run into another black male. This is kind of our culture. We size him up.
Yes.
See, okay,
Yeah,
is he black enough?
Exactly.
We do
Right.
that to each other.
Yeah, we do.
And is he cool? Is he wearing the right shoe?
Right.
When I first saw you, was in them Jordans.
Right.
So we size each other up to see where we coming from.
Right.
Is he preppy? Is he Ivy League? What type of
Yeah.
African American is he? And so when you see that type of thing, I believe it's because of our ignorance, we size you up and we place you in a certain spot.
Right.
And then we look at, a lot of time, I think we look at guys and see, okay, why are you with this Caucasian?
Right.
You got all the black ingredients. There's nothing stopping you from going after a sister.
Right.
And this is the mindset. This is not how I think, but this is a cultural
Yeah, I know exactly
mindset.
what you mean.
So what do you say to that?
I understand. And sometimes I do have thoughts to myself about that. In the past, I've thought about it. It's kind of hard to say, just because deep down it shouldn't matter. But I know exactly what you mean. I like who I like, and you should like who you like. If you fit with that person, you fit with them. And I'll be a little honest, and I'll break down a little bit about the black woman that takes away a little bit, and where some guys may like dealing with a Caucasian or another ethnicity. Black women, okay.
We're getting to the
They kind of want to wear the pants sometimes and wear the skirt.
Okay.
I lived with my mother growing up, and the way her and my father relationship was, after he lost his really good job and she kind of maintained a little bit, making a little bit more than him, it was a definite change in how she treated him, as far as he really wasn't the man anymore. Like, she was in charge. Kind of belittled him a little bit in front of us. After so long, he kind of left because he couldn't really deal with that. I didn't understand that until I got older.
Would you say, I'm gonna be jumping in on you.
Okay.
Would you say that is a cultural thing, or would any woman react that way? Because it sounds as if you're saying, okay, in a different culture, it probably wouldn't go down like that.
I don't think it would go down like that.
Really?
I mean, person is a person. You know, people are different, period. So it's definitely a possibility. It wouldn't matter depending on what race you are. But from my dealing and just seeing certain things, it's almost like...
You do know that we're probably going to end up with a part 2 to this show.
Yeah, that's cool.
Once the black woman hears what we're talking about.
Yeah, she's going to probably be a little mad at it.
And get your point of view. That
But she wants to tell you a little bit too much on how to be a man. I won't say all.
Okay. That's where I want to get
I won't say all, but it's hard to almost, when she wants to, like I say, wear the pants and the skirt too. Like, it's almost, they won't let you be the man sometimes in the relationship. Like they're still almost kind of in charge. And I feel like it sounds really bad coming out. It sounds really bad coming out. But you don't really deal with that with the white woman. At least right now with me.
Mm-hmm.
And not saying that when I was with a black woman, it was like that. I'm really speaking on my mother and black women that I've seen in relationship with. Like, it's almost like you have to have this and you have to have that, you know, in order to be with me in the first place. It's not like let's start from the bottom and kind of like, or let me even like, it's just I like you because I like you. Like, almost like, you know, you have to have this kind of stature before you even get a chance to like me. But the white woman, they almost helping you out. Like, you could be broke and they helping you out to build you up. And then, like, you know, they helping you get everything all straight and good, like, and not making you feel less of a man in that process.
Okay, let me jump in. Okay, first of all, we needed to establish, how old are you?
I'm 36.
36, okay. Now, you said it's not all black women.
It's not all black women.
Not all black women. Now, would you say that is most of black men, say 40 years and younger, feel the way that you do? Now, you just said it's not all black women.
I don't know if they'd be honest about it and say it.
And say it? So you do think that males, African-American males, 40 years and under, feel that way about the black woman?
If I'm speaking for him and I'm the one in charge of it right now, I would say yes.
You would say yes?
Yeah.
Wow, okay. Part 2 is going to be a lot of fun. I will probably have more than one African-American woman on this show talking to us and referring to Mr. Alex Jackson. I don't know if you'll be available, but we might need to have you and an African-American woman here on the show.
Let's see if we can make that happen.
So you met Miss Amber and at work.
Right.
A couple of things transpired.
I was actually with a female. I'll keep it real. I was actually with, I was in a relationship.
You were
at the time.
in a relationship
Right.
at the time.
She was mixed, so
Okay,
she
we
was
just
black
hit a
and
curve.
white.
Let's
Right.
go.
She was black and white, so she was mixed. But I was dealing with a lot of arguing for no reason at the time. I was dealing with a lot of like, we could be doing good, and like she wants to find something wrong with something, and this is before maybe I might have did something to cheated or anything like that. But like it just seemed like everything could be good, and like it was something had to be wrong. Like it was an argument that came up, and I hate conflict. I don't want to fight. Like I want everything to be cool and fine and dandy. If it's not, then it's gonna mess up my day. I'm gonna be in an attitude. I don't want to do nothing no more that we thought about doing or talked about doing or nothing like that. When I got with her, it was like so late, like just so cool. Like she was just so like laid back and like not wanting to fight, and it was just she was just so interested in just what was going on, and some of the things I was into, my girlfriend at the time wasn't really buying, and she was liking it, and I kind of was drawn to that, and she was just kind of cool to be around. I've dealt with a white girl before her. She wasn't the first one that I was with. And I won't say I was in really a relationship with them, but it was a nice little time frame with the one before her. And it was kind of like the same thing. Like, there was really no issues. Like, I didn't really deal with nothing like that. I was actually doing good. I can't say, like, I had a money problem or something like that for that to be an issue. But, yeah, it was just more laid back. It was no problems. It was, I'm free. Like, like I'm able to be me, and everything was fine. So I went with that route in the long run because I was tired of arguing. I didn't want to fight with her no more. It really wasn't worth it to me. Like, I was fine.
I want to jump in and say you're listening to Unity. I'm your host, Michael T., and our guest today is Alex Jackson, and we're talking about his perspective on interracial relationships, or one in particular, the one that he's in. The name of the show is Unity, and we are on mnowradio.org. mnowradio.org. And as I said, listening to the show, you can contact me through my email. That is thisshow2017@gmail.com. THISSHOW 2017@gmail.com. Also, another segment that we want to bring into the show, probably in our next few shows, you will be able to either call in or come on to the show and do a public apology. Years ago, we did a show, and it sort of went like this. You've done things you shouldn't have done. You've said things that you shouldn't have said. And now it's time to say, I'm sorry. There's no better way to say I'm sorry than to go public. And so we would like to do in the near future a public apology show. Again, we're here talking with Mr. Alex Jackson. That's probably, if we had a heat chart right now, he would have raised our level to over 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Mr. Jackson is an African American, and he has chosen as his mate, as his fiance, a Caucasian lady. He said that she pumps him up, makes him feel good about himself. She's not about conflict. And I believe you told me before the show that you guys have a daughter. You have a daughter together?
Yeah, we also have a younger son.
Okay,
He's 2
a daughter
years old.
and a son.
Uh-huh.
And what are their names?
My son's name is Dylan, and my daughter's name is Dallas.
Dylan and Dallas, the two D's. Tell me, I want to get into two things before we close. One is your children, but before that, how do you deal with, say, some of the pressures? There may be, she has parents. How do they feel about you? She has cousins, relatives, friends. How do they feel about you? You have boys, friends. How do they feel about you and your relationship? If you could elaborate on that a little bit for me, and then I want to talk to you about children.
Okay. On my side of the fence, I don't really hear that, I can't believe you with a white girl or nothing like that. I've heard a couple jokes like, I bet your credit is all good now and stuff like that. Or what else was another joke?
Well, how does it go at the family dinners?
Well, see, like,
is there
'cause
any
it's
pressure there on her side or your side?
on her side, it's a lot different on her side. My side, they know we together, but I'm not really, like, I work so much, and if we do have a time to do something on a holiday or something, due to me kind of like knowing how my family is, like, I might go see my mother or somebody like that, but my immediate family, but we're not that close on my side of the family to really be, I'm not that family oriented as a big whole. Okay. Immediate, yes. As a big whole, it's a nice couple calls. We know what's going on with each other, but it's not a lot of, I don't see him a lot like I used to when I was younger, just kind of like being older, and my life is a little different now as far as my time goes. Okay. So I don't fear it's a issue. If it is, I haven't heard anything on my side. On her side, I've had problems. When we first got together,
just went down, ladies and gentlemen. You can't see it, but his head went down.
When we first got together, her mother had stated that she thought I had bad character, and you know how hard it is for a black and white couple. And her son that she had previous, before we had kids together, was with I guess Hispanic. It was Mexican, half white, half Mexican. So technically, her son is Mexican. So she was basing how you might get treated from a guy off of the race, because that didn't go good for her. Okay. So I guess she thought,
preconceived.
Yeah, it would be like that with me, because her sister dated a black guy, and that didn't go good. So I guess in her head, white guys don't do bad, they don't cheat, in her head, the mom's head. So we had a nice little talk, and she stated the bad character thing, and I kind of broke it down, like, all the stuff that I do. And I kind of look a certain way. You mentioned what I might have had on or something like that. Mm-hmm. And at that time, I was into a lot of other different things. So it was a little different, but as time grew on, she kind of saw that looks aren't everything that they seem. Mm-hmm. At least don't judge a book by its cover, because, I've been in their life and helping, and became a father to her son, who's not biologically mine, ever since he was like 1 year old. Okay. I've been there as a father figure. So I think that helped her kind of know, like, as far as the character thing went, how I was acting at that time. Her sister said certain things before, like, that's so ghetto. She made a statement, and
getting her digs in.
Due to me, I said something, I think it was Mother's Day, and I was just making a joke. I said, to the best baby mom anybody could ever have, something like that, some other stuff. And she, like, referenced that was the ghettoest thing I ever heard. That really hit a nerve with me. So I kind of went off a little bit on that. Her parents just recently voted for Trump. Yeah. That was a big issue for me.
Out names. I don't know if we should have said that one. But that's okay.
So it's a lot of things on her side that I kind of have a little problems with. And then it's a lot of things I might not even know about that goes on. Like, it was a nice falling out between her aunts, Mm-hmm. And I think it might have been because she was with me for a certain amount of time. I think I had a factor to do with it at the time.
And how and let me jump in, and how much does this affect your relationship with your fiance? Those kind of issues, are they very weight bearing, or do you guys just realize, okay, this is how it's going to be? We're gonna survive, or we're gonna flourish no matter what's on the outside. is there pressure, to your relationship?
It's not pressure. When it happens, I get upset and I let it be known. I want to go to a certain mode.
And when Amber sees you upset, does it how you say stretch your relationship in a negative way to where you guys are not so much coming together but coming apart? Does it affect you?
Nah, she's pretty much on my side when it comes to stuff like that. But when it comes to what she thinks should be done after that, it doesn't really appear so. She wanted me to apologize to her sister after I kind of went off on her after the ghettoest thing I ever heard in my life comment, to be the bigger person.
Right.
And I felt like I don't have to apologize for anything. Why am I saying sorry? Things like that. So we're like, yeah, I agree that was wrong 2 days later, but I think you should, just to be the bigger, something like that. So it kind of feels like, yeah, when it happens, yeah, you with me. But then maybe it's because it's your family, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, that's why you want it to be done. Or I can't really feel like maybe she's really siding with him because I know her, and I'm with her. I know how she is.
Well, Mr. Jackson, I'm going to jump in again. We've only got a couple of more minutes, and we probably can have you back on the show to talk a little bit more about the issue. I don't think it can be, how you say, best explored in 30 minutes.
Right,
that's all we have.
right.
Again, you're listening to Unity. This is an online radio show, and we are on mnowradio.org. My guest today is Alex Jackson. I am Michael T., your host. Please join us again, and hopefully we will have another show very soon. We're not on a regular schedule yet, but we hope to be. Today we were talking about racial or interracial relationship with Mr. Jackson and his fiancee Amber. Maybe next time we will talk about the children and how that affects them. Tell me real quick, what is the restaurant scene like? You go to a restaurant, Amber's on your arm. What are the looks that you get?
We get some nice looks.
You get some nice looks.
And it feels like by now it just seems like people should be kind of overseeing a black and white person together.
And you still get in the
like by now it kind of feels like it. I could see if it was still like 94, 93,
right.
92, but it's 2017. It's a little different. But it's a lot of things that I see now that's happening that I wouldn't think would have happened again in this time and day right now too. So that just goes to show everything kind of comes back around, I guess. But
so
yeah.
Love is love, and no matter what's going on outside and around you, you and Amber are going to be together and glad to be together.
Yes.
You say yes to that. Okay. Well, I'm glad that you came on. I understand you have a super busy schedule. We're going to see what our response to this show is and probably try and call you up and get you back on the show so we can get a little more into what we're trying to accomplish here. I see it as something that we make up our own minds. Like you said, if I like somebody, I like them. If they purple, blue, green, it doesn't matter because you just can't avoid that attraction. Like you said, Amber saw you first, and since someone was interested in you, you thought, well, maybe I ought to see what this is about.
Exactly.
Because they're showing me the love first. And it sounds like you're well pleased with Amber.
Yes, I'm very pleased.
And I'd love to talk more with you, hopefully in a upcoming show about the children, how it affects them, how they see it. And most time children, it doesn't make them any difference. They're just living life. And as we all should, just live life, enjoy it. It doesn't matter the color of the skin. And once again, Mr. Jackson, I thank you for being on with me.
No problem.
And you can say a little something to the audience and the goodbyes, and we'll be signing off as we should in like 1 second.
Okay. Don't judge me, okay? I'm just being honest from the heart, letting you know how it is on my side. And everybody doesn't have the same opinion. This is just me and my view on it. That's all. Thank you very much for the time, and I'll be back soon as I can.
Thank you so much. You're listening to Unity. We're signing off. We're on mnowradio.org, and I'm your host, Michael T. Join us again, and be sure to contact me on this show 2017 at Gmail. Thank you.